I do think that they are probably trying to line their bow ball up on one of these buoys, or maybe just line themselves up on this buoy that's like right in between them right now, if you can see that. And I believe that that's probably where they're starting, but there is no starting block.
Yeah, normally they'd be held, but they're off now, and what a great start from Van Dorp. Look at him power off. He is absolutely on fire.
Right,
and the Dutchman on the right of your picture, the 27-year-old, they're both 27, has got already, I'd say, a race-winning lead over Chris Carlson. I mean, maybe that's talking too soon. We're just, what, 20 seconds into this race, but did you see how quick he went off?
It was, wow, that was incredible to watch. It does look like Chris Carlson is hanging on just a little bit, but he's off.
It was an absolutely explosive start, but we did see Simon have to course correct a little bit, and that gave a little bit of an open door for Chris to hang in there for a little bit closer of a margin.
And Emily, you've been looking at Simon's pacing, particularly in the Olympic regatta, where the Olympic champion, Olli Zeidler from Germany, tends to start really quickly, and you thought that Simon had to try and match Olli Zeidler's pace in the first bit of that race in the Paris Olympics.
Yes, well, that's what the race data was showing, that he had just gone out a little bit harder than previous races in that first 500, and we got to chat about it a little bit the other day and how he felt that that affected the rest of the race. And so I'm curious what we're going to see in his planned moves for today and how he takes on this shorter race with only the 1,500 meters. But Chris is hanging in there. It doesn't seem like that margin is widening too much right now. It seems like they've settled into a certain space. What do you think?
Yeah, I was going to ask you, to put yourself in Chris Carlson's mind. You know you're racing, the world's second best sculler, the Olympic bronze medalist. You're behind him at this point in the race. What's going through Chris Carlson's mind?
Oh, I'm sure that he is still trying to give it his best race. I mean, you can't not in a situation like this. I do think this race is interesting, though, because as they race together in college, they know each other and they know how each other races. And so I'm sure Chris kind of has an idea of what's going through Simon's mind at the moment.
Yeah, so Simon van Dorp, he's on the right of your picture. He's in that orange top, and he will know all about those sort of bubbles coming up. There's Simon. He's got his sunglasses on top of his head. He looks to be sculling beautifully. Look how relaxed his arms are. A lot of people think rowing is an arm-based sport, and if you're tuning in to this presentation of the Lenny Peters Cup, the rest of the world v Team USA, we welcome you. You might think rowers use their arms a lot. They don't. Most of the muscle groups they use are down low, the legs, the glutes, opening out, through the back. The arms do very little of the work. And on that close-up shot, you could see Simon there, how loose and relaxed his arms were.
Yes, he looked so relaxed and just really had a great rhythm going. Definitely maybe taking it down a little, as he has a multiple boat length lead on Chris Carlson at the moment.
Chris, though, we cannot forget, not only has he had such spectacular finishes more recently on the world stage, but he also was in that 2018 8 that set the world record at the U23 championships. So if there's anything Chris Carlson knows how to do, it's take on a race and make it count every stroke of the way down the course.
Yeah, I think that was a 5:22 they scored, that under 23A, and that was only 4 seconds slower than the open event. The rest of the world, 5:18, I think the Germans have done, over 2,000 meters. You could see Simon's boat there just wobble a little bit in those kind of bubbles from the dam, but he seemed to navigate that fine, and he won't have sculled in this Felipe shell, too often. He probably only got into it a couple of days ago, but he looks quite comfortable.
And yes. Martin, you were discussing him bringing his own shoes with him.
Oh, yeah, I forgot. So basically, he has, USA size 18 feet. That is, how big is that, I don't know, 2 feet or something? Anyway, he always brings with him his own shoes. We saw Chris Carlson there. And he kind of has to attach them specially to the boat. They're kind of... Athletes put their feet in these kind of sneakers, which are attached to the boat and really give them a sort of great connection with the boat and the water. But because Simon's feet are so big, he has to take his own shoes with him, which is kind of quite cool. I didn't know that until I saw him doing that yesterday.
Yeah, and he was telling me yesterday that when he first started, he had to duct tape his feet into the boat because he didn't have shoes big enough. So he would just tape his feet into the boat for racing.
Oh, wow.
So rest of the world look to be getting a second point on the board. USA have 5, rest of the world have 1 at the moment, but there are just 10 strokes to the finish line. And Simon van Dorp is going to chalk up a point a valuable point for the rest of the world. He comes to the finish line past the yellow duck. He still looks loose, fluid, relaxed. Van Dorp takes the point ahead of his UW teammate Chris Carlson, who will be coming up to the line very shortly. Great scull from the Dutchman, the man from Amsterdam, the William III club on the Amstel River there, one of the oldest clubs in Dutch rowing. And Van Dorp looks imperious. He looked imperious, and it is now 5-2 the score to Team USA, but it's closing up a bit.